Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. People in Ke Xue, female characters are not quite right. Traversing into the world of science. The black clad organization started with a very ordinary crossing routine. However, he soon realized that there seemed to be something wrong with the female characters in this world. Even a reserved and beautiful girl like Xiaolan would come over and strike up a conversation like a porcelain. Who would believe that? When he was lost in thought, the female characters opened their summer leaves diary, one after another. Fei Yingli. Surprisingly, she said that Xizi is more beautiful than me. Why? Does she wear less? Belmord. Am I and Youxizi one and two sides of the same peak? What is this setting? Xiaolan. What identity did Xia Ye switch to today? The owner of the Daoguan Pavilion. Restaurant owner. Or Spider-Man Miyano Zhibao. Surprisingly, he said he prefers me to become smaller, so I won't change. I'm so angry with you. Suzuki Tomoko. What about my plot? What's going on with this street comic? Don't I even count as a supporting role? Xia Ye. Desperate, what kind of ghost unfolding is all this? I won't be crossing into some unscrupulous fan world, will I? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Adhere to originality and eliminate non-compliant commitment letters. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 13,000 yuan, guarantee that the signed work belongs to my own original creation and strictly follow the Feilu Writers' Convention during the creation process. I adhere to originality and eliminate the following violations. If there are any violations, I am willing to bear all consequences arising from it. 1. Ensure that the signed work belongs to one's own original work and does not involve plagiarism or plot plagiarism in Chinese translation. 2. Ensure that no third-party works or plot are plagiarized during the creative process. 3. Ensure that this work is first published and the only contracted website on Feilu Novel Network. 3. Ensure compliance with laws and regulations during the creative process, including, but not limited to, violations such as not involving politics, not involving pornography, gambling, drugs, promoting cults, not ghostwriting, not blocking or abolishing manuscripts, not hosting, not selling works or accounts, etc. 4. Ensure that regardless of the word count of the work, the signed work must complete the plot, never end, and never stop or end. Feilu's novel, Fei wants you to look good. Chapter 1. Diary of Miyano Zhibao and the Traveler. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tokyo Metropolis, Mihua Town. 800 Biomedical Research Institute. Central Laboratory. Today's experiment has been fully completed. There is still some time until what needs to be done next. Miyano Zhibao took a break from his busy schedule, teasing a white hamster. A faint smile appeared in the ice-blue beautiful eyes, and the delicate and beautiful facial lines were soft and peaceful. This is a relaxed posture that she has never shown before in front of outsiders, and no one has seen it except for her sister Minami Miyano. Squeak, squeak. The hamster suddenly became restless and began to wander around. What's wrong, Xiao Bai? Squeak, squeak. The hamster ignored her and ran even more happily. Do you also dislike me? NetEase master Miyano Zhibao has started his emo again. Sure enough, except for my sister, no one in this world likes me, even a hamster is no exception. Squeak, squeak. The hamster couldn't understand and continued to wander around. I've decided, next time I'll experiment with you first. Miyano Zhibao pursed his lips and cautiously pronounced the death sentence on hamster. She was about to put away the hamster cage, but her eyes suddenly froze and she looked at the table next to her. On the originally blank desktop, there is now a black book with gold decorations, with 4 words written on the cover. Summer Leaves Journal. Summer Leaves. A figure emerged subconsciously in my mind. That is a handsome young man with black hair. having a face that can be difficult for any woman to refuse. However, thinking of him, Miyano Zhibao instinctively frowned. Autumn mountains and summer leaves, young elites trained by organizations, only one step away from obtaining titles and becoming core members. Last month, he was sent by the upper echelons of the organization to take over this research institute. Miyano Zhibao knew what the organization meant, and he was a prisoner in this prison called the Research Institute. Naturally, he came to guard his own prison guards. Is this log his prank? It's impossible, he shouldn't be that boring person. At a time of entanglement. Schwa. The cover of the log automatically opens. This eerie situation made Miyano Zhibao somewhat panicked. She took a deep breath to calm her mood. Start carefully reviewing the content of the log. I have traveled through the world of comics. Miyano Zhibao was stunned on the spot, crossing over. Comic world. In her leisure time, she has also read some light novels, and of course, she understands what time travel is all about. But, the world of comics. Is the world you are in painted by someone else? Autumn mountains and summer leaves, this name is quite poetic, as a member of the black organization and quite valued, this is a good start. Are the members of the organization pretty good? Shouldn't your values be reworked? Do you know that everyone here is a criminal? The most crucial thing is, Zhibao's wife. My Zhibao's wife is right next to me, and I can stand up and take 2 steps to touch her. Zhibao's wife, he. Zhibao's wife. Miyano Zhibao's face was so frightened that he almost called the police directly. This traveler, please be normal and don't go crazy. I'm a bit scared. Now she believes that Xia Ye is truly a so-called traveler. Because the original autumn mountains and summer leaves would never say such vulgar words, they wouldn't even die. Speaking of which, the plot hasn't started yet, and there should be some time before Minami Miyano's 1 billion yen bank robbery. I need to make preparations early. Since I have passed through here, I can't let Miyano sisters die and escape this tragedy. What? Miyano Zhibao felt as if he had been struck by lightning, his face instantly turning pale. 1 death, 1 escape. Are you talking about yourself and your sister? That must be my sister who escaped. After all, she is a peripheral member, running away will be easier. It must be like this. With my current strength, it is still difficult to save their sisters without saying anything. Fortunately, there is a system. As long as you can obtain a powerful identity, there is no problem at all. However, this broken system also requires writing mood logs every day, and 1 month's reward will be deducted if the watch is interrupted. Fortunately, others cannot see the log, otherwise it would be too social. Forget it, let's finish here. It's almost time. After reading the log, Miyano Zhibao sorted out his emotions. My mood is no longer as fearful as before. Since this world is the so-called comic world. The tragedy that Xia Ye mentioned about herself and her sister must be the plot of the future. Now that this plot hasn't happened yet, there's still time. You can work hard and come up with a solution. Moreover, Miyano Zhibao's face turned red. Just like Xia Ye's crazy behavior in the log just now. The position of oneself as a character, in his mind as a traveler is definitely not low. He will definitely help himself. As long as I can save my sister, I will. No. Miyano Zhibao shook his head vigorously and temporarily sealed the idea. I don't know who this guy is yet, let's observe first. It's just the right time, take the initiative to click over and find him. In the office near the central laboratory. Xia Ye closed the log. Even beginner gift packages need to be logged before they can be unlocked. Why don't you call it the colorful life system instead of the log writing system? Colorful life system. The golden finger obtained by Xia Ye when she just crossed over. The system will randomly add an additional identity to him every week. Completing exclusive tasks for identity will earn various rewards. Of course, the system does not have mandatory tasks, its main function is to allow Xia Ye to experience various aspects of life. The only mandatory requirement of the system is that Xia Ye must record her life experiences every day, which can also be considered as a reflection on experiencing various aspects of life. Forget it, just log it. Originally, the system forced him to write logs, but he was still somewhat reluctant. However, after finishing writing, he realized that being able to freely express his emotions in the log and say secrets that cannot be shared with others is actually quite good. Summer leaves concentrate and summon their attributes. Host. Autumn mountain and summer leaves normal identity. Member of the Black Organization special identity. None mysterious identity. None own items. Life enlightenment log, bound, indestructible, beginner gift pack, can be opened, the system interface is very concise. Of course, you can also click on identity to see specific attributes. Just like the only identity Xia Ye currently possesses. A member of the Black Organization. Members of the Black Organization elite talents who have undergone professional and rigorous training by the Black Organization. Additional abilities. Proficiency in firearms, combat, and disguise techniques. The power of firearms has been increased by 10%, and the power of combat has been increased by 10%. Identity task. Provided by the organization. It is worth mentioning that the 10% bonus for firearms and combat was increased on the basis of Xia Ye's own strength. In the future, he will gain other identities that can use guns and fight, and these bonuses can be stacked. But these summer leaves don't have time to care about it for now. He opened the beginner's gift package with a hopeful mood. Extraordinary Spider-Man battle suit, custom bento box, a set of high-end smart villas in Mihua Town, modified version of Harley motorcycle magic, good guy. A 4-piece set of clothing, food, housing, and transportation. Wait. Is there anything wrong inside here? The Extraordinary Spider-Man battle suit. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 2. The world becomes a simple mode. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Amazing Spider-Man battle clothes. After being dressed, you will automatically obtain Amazing Spider-Man identity. Looking at such a simple description. Even if fate is like summer leaves, I can't help but fall into ecstasy. What is the concept of Spider-Man in Conan's world? Except for Koizumi Koko, there are hidden experts like the Ishikawa 5 right guard who do not know their specific strength. It can be said that wearing the Spider-Man battle suit, on a personal level, he is almost invincible in this world. I originally thought that with the system, my time traveling would be in a simple mode, but I didn't expect it to be in a free mode. The system is really thoughtful. Take out the Extraordinary Spider-Man battle suit from the item list. This is the battle suit worn by Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2, beautifully designed and very cool. Classic red and blue color scheme, with a golden spider engraved on the chest. A combination of technology and fantasy. Dress up. Xia Ye's heart twitched. The battle clothes disappeared from his hands and were worn on him. Endless power surged out of the body. The 5 senses instantly extended in all directions. The whole world became exceptionally clear in his eyes. Is this the power of Spider-Man? Amazing Spider-Man, put on the spider battle suit, punish evil and promote good, and uphold justice. Additional abilities. Spider physical fitness, self-healing factors, immune system, spider sensing, adsorption ability. Identity task. Probability triggered when criminal activities occur in the host city. Note. Only when wearing a spider warsuit can one fully utilize their abilities. When not wearing a spider warsuit, only spider sensing and a few other abilities are retained. Does strength basically rely on armor bonuses? However, with the extraordinary identity of Spider-Man, one can now walk horizontally in this world. And without wearing battle clothes, he also has spider sensing and a few other abilities, which are stronger than most people in this world. What other regrets are there? Xia Ye looked at the spider silk launcher on her wrist. I can't help but want to try Spider-Man's most iconic ability. Boss, Sherry is here. The sound of a subordinate's report came from outside the door. Let her in. Xia Ye instantly took off her extraordinary Spider-Man battle suit and said calmly. Click. The office door was pushed open, and a beautiful and graceful figure walked in. Short brown hair, exquisite and beautiful mixed race pretty face, ice blue big eyes, exuding an icy aura of not being close to strangers. Wait. What about the iceberg scent? Where has an iceberg beauty like me gone? Standing in front of Xia Ye, Miyano Zhibao's pretty face remained cold. But her breath was calm and she did not reject anyone from 1,000 miles away. See Xia Ye and look over. She even slightly curled her lips and showed a faint smile. Xia Ye, can you take me to see my sister? I see. Is it because I'm going to see my sister that I'm so happy? Xia Ye understood the truth and replied with a smile. Of course, we can set off any time. Miyano Zhibao looked at Xia Ye, who was already a traveler, with beautiful eyes. Temperament is gentle and elegant, with a warm and sunny smile. I can't believe he's the same person as the guy in the log who's crazy about himself. Thinking of that line about Zhibao's wife, she blushed and spat softly in secret. What's wrong with you? You have a fever. The voice of Xia Ye's concern came, and Miyano Zhibao lifted his head. Seeing him reaching out to touch his forehead, he quickly took a step back. It's okay, can we leave now? Now. Xia Ye pointed at her white coat and exclaimed in surprise. Are you wearing this to meet your sister? Miyano Zhibao, who has not yet shrunk, has a very good figure, and even her white coat cannot hide her delicate curves. It seems that she later told Feng Biako that she was very knowledgeable and not boasting about herself. However, even though she is naturally beautiful and looks good in anything she wears, Xia Ye still wants to see her wear more beautiful clothes. Anything sexy or cute is fine. Then I'll go and replace it. Miyano Zhibao originally did not think there was anything wrong with wearing a white coat to meet his sister. But seeing Xia Ye's slightly hopeful gaze, she uttered such words by a stroke of luck. Okay, I'll wait for you downstairs. Xia Ye is very excited about what clothes Miyano Zhibao will wear. Downstairs of the Research Institute. A low-key black Toyota sedan parked on the roadside. The black-clad security guard respectfully reported to Xia Ye. Big brother, Brother Qinjiu has already notified us. The meeting will take place at the coffee shop under Mihua department store. I got it. Summer Leaves lightly waved their hands. The black-clad security guard wisely stepped down and sat in the driver's cab. Mihua department store, the place we met last time is different again. The guy Qinjiu is really cautious. Every time Miyano sisters meet, there is a temporary notice, even he doesn't tell. Of course, this is also because he is not from the same faction as Qinjiu in the organization. I waited for a while. Miyano Zhibao's figure appeared at the door. Xia Ye's eyes lit up. A white slim-fit shirt on the upper body, and lightweight white-washed jeans on the legs. The clothes worn by Miyano Zhibao are both small and fresh, highlighting her figure, making her look sweet and charming. It's very beautiful. As she approached, Xia Ye sincerely praised her. Miyano Zhibao was very grateful in his heart, but he did not show it. She glanced at the man in black in the driver's seat and realized that she had to disguise herself well in front of outsiders. If exposed, it will harm oneself and even implicate Xia Ye. Let's go. Xia Ye opened the car door for her, waited for her to get in, and sat directly beside her. Thank you. On the driving car. Because there is a black-clad security guard driving. Xia Ye and Miyano Zhibao had a brief conversation. Xia Ye opened her life reflection log and prepared to write 2 more notes. I just obtained the status of Spider-Man, but I can't tell anyone, I can only vent in the log. In Miyano Zhibao's eyes, Xia Ye picked up her phone and began typing. And the Summer Leaf Diary also appeared in front of her in an instant, starting to turn pages. I see. Miyano Zhibao understands now. The behavior of writing a log on a summer night will become a normal action in the eyes of others, and it will not arouse suspicion. Only the person who owns his log can guess what he is doing. Ha ha ha. I am invincible. Miyano Zhibao was very surprised when he saw the first sentence. Didn't you just say it was very difficult to save my sister and me from the organization? Why are you invincible after only a while? If there is a system, it expands, right? At the same time, in every corner of the world, certain mysterious beings share the same mood as Shiba Miyano. How could it be invincible? Is the plot developing too quickly? Feilu's novel, Fei Wants You to Look Good. Chapter 3. Meeting with Minami Miyano. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The system is so considerate, the beginner gift package actually pulled out the Spider-Man identity. I can now hang the entire organization with one hand, no matter what gin, vodka, Beck's rum, or boss, it's no problem. Even if Jin were to take out the Apache helicopter now, I could slap him to death. Ha ha ha. No, 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 be humble. There is magic in this world, and I don't know how powerful Koizumi Honko, the legitimate descendant of the red magic, is. I secretly glanced at Xia Ye next to me. Miyano Zhibao's previously suspended heart finally came to an end. With Xia Ye's understanding of the world as a traveler. He said he can now hang up the entire organization, Shigeru Miyano. Moreover, in Xia Ye's perception, this log can only be seen by himself, and he is not even capable of deceiving himself. Wait. What kind of ghost is that named Koizumi Honzi? Magician. What strange things are there in this world? However, it is best to avoid direct confrontation with the organization. I'm not afraid, it would still be troublesome for Shiba and Minmay to be chased by the organization. Let's see if we can find a more suitable identity in the future. Anyway, there's still some time left. If it doesn't work out, we can force ourselves to take action. See the analysis of Xia Ye. Miyano Zhibao instinctively nodded. She fully understands the terror of the organization, with members spread across various countries and industries. If you defect from the organization, unless you hide your name and never appear again, otherwise as long as you are found by the organization, there will definitely be no peace. Speaking of Mingmei. I don't know what she thinks, but she actually believes that if she grabs 1 billion yen of gin, she and her sister will be released from the organization. It's so naive. So it's like this. Is this my sister's plan? A touch of warmth appeared on Miyano Zhibao's pretty face. Sister, she's really stupid. As a peripheral member of the organization, she still doesn't have enough knowledge about Chinjo. How could a naturally cold person care about promises? Once he gets the money, he will kill sister. Miyano Zhibao lowered his head. She understood what Xia Ye meant by one death, one escape. So it's my sister. However, without anyone's help, how did I escape from the organization? Knowing Xia Ye's strength, Miyano Zhibao temporarily abandoned his fear of the organization and began to pay attention to the development of the plot. But now, thinking about it, maybe she doesn't know, she just has no other way. Alas, the sisters are trapped in the organization. She is going to use her own life to give Zhibao a little hope. How pitiful. A faint mist appeared in Miyano Zhibao's eyes. With just these 2 words, her liking for Xia Ye has increased significantly. Xia Ye can understand her sister's hard work, and she is really touched. However, I absolutely cannot let my sister sacrifice herself this time. The expression on Miyano Zhibao's pretty face gradually became firm. Mingmei is a gentle and kind black and straight beauty, and I still quite like her. It's a pity to let her pass away. What? Miyano Zhibao blinked. Like my sister. You just called me wife. Flip up and write clearly in black and white. Slightly pout your mouth. Zhibao's heart was filled with emotion and turned into a faint jealousy. Judging from Xia Ye's madness in the log, he does like himself, but unexpectedly he is a sea king. Damn it, I still want to really fall in love with him. After all, this is a brand new summer leaf, and I don't dislike it either. Forget it now. Humph. Calculating the time, Xiaolan hasn't participated in the Dongdu karate competition yet, which means the plot hasn't started yet. There is at least a month left until Mingmei robs the bank, during which I can obtain at least 4 identities, and there will always be someone who can solve the problem. There it is. New character. Miyano Zhibao was instantly energized. Even if it's just the text in the log, she can still see Xia Ye's attitude towards this Xiaolan. Although not crazy, in the so-called comics, Xiaolan is definitely a character he loves very much. At the same time, we have also made different reactions to certain aspects of the logs that we are currently monitoring. In this world of comics, Shinichi Kudo is the protagonist, Kobayashi is considered the female lead, and Shiba is considered half the female lead. Miyano Zhibao showed a dead fish eye. What, half a female lead? How could she say it so reluctantly? Also, Shinichi Kudo is the protagonist, and I can be considered the female lead, which means I will fall in love with him. I pooh. Zhibao was very indecent and spat in his heart. I haven't seen that so-called high school detective on TV before. Arrogant and proud, loved to show off, just a little ghost with no city or mansion. If I have to like him, I might as well like summer leaves. At least he likes me and is mature and steady. Wait. Mature and stable. Zhibao thought of the words in the summer night log. I pondered for a moment. Never mind, on the surface, stability is also considered stable. Anyway, no one else knows what's on the log except myself. By the way, since I have traveled through time, this is a book about the same culture. Is it me who is the protagonist? This is a detective comic, and I don't understand reasoning. Forget it, let's do what we love. I'm too lazy to care. Big brother, we're here. The black-clad security guard who was driving parked the car on the roadside, softly reminding Xia Ye outside the mysterious object in the back seat. I know. Xia Ye pushed open the car door and reached out to help Zhibao get off the car. He said calmly, you can leave now, come and pick us up when the time is up, understood? The black-clad security guard said, Big brother, I know the rules. Go ahead. Yes. Spring Cafe. Unlike other elegant and formal coffee shops, the decoration here is very warm. The overall style is a warm family style. The current time is after 6 p.m. The neon lights on the street have gradually begun to light up. As night falls, many families have already enjoyed the delicious food and coffee for dinner in the store. Zhibao, in the corner booth on the first floor, a beautifully make-up blonde waved towards her, this way, sister. The two of them walked over, and Miyano Shiba held his sister's hand. Thinking of what Xia Ye had said about the plot, he couldn't help but feel the excitement and didn't know what to say. Shiba, Minami Miyano gently held Shiba Miyano in her arms, patted her back, and said with a gentle gaze, it's okay, sister is here. Realizing that this is a public place. Miyano Zhibao blushed with embarrassment and came out of his sister's arms. Sister, I miss you so much. Alright, don't be coquettish. Minami Miyano smiled and glanced at Xia Ye. Xia Ye is still here. Miyano Shiba sat down with his sister. She didn't care about Xia Ye watching. Anyway, this guy knows the plot, maybe he has seen even more embarrassing things, so there's nothing to avoid. Feilu's novel, Fei Wants You to Look Good. Chapter 4. The Mysterious Spectator and the Extraordinary Spider-Man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You guys talk, I'll wait next to you, Xia Ye kindly bid farewell. The sisters should have a lot to say. He is too shy to be a light bulb. Xia Ye, sit down and chat together. Unexpectedly, Minami Miyano suddenly spoke out to persuade her to stay, which startled both Natsuya and Shiba Miyano. Forget it, Xia Ye pondered for a moment, but still refused. That's it, Miyano Minami said warmly with a bright smile, then you can also order some food. It's my treat. Okay, I'll be more respectful than obedient, although she couldn't understand why Miyano Minami had become so passionate about herself, Xia Ye still accepted her kindness. Sister. Miyano Zhibao said in confusion. What's wrong with you, why are you suddenly so attentive to him? It's not for you. Miyano Akira pointed at her sister's nose and smiled, saying. From the moment I first entered, I noticed that your gaze at her was different. There's no difference. Miyano Zhibao's heart skipped a beat, and his small face pretended to be calm. Not really. Hee, Minami Miyano blinked and chuckled lightly, saying. I don't know my sister yet. You are very indifferent to others in your eyes. But for Xia Ye, it's obviously completely different. You can't deceive me. Sister, how could you become shrewd at such a time? Miyano Zhibao thought of Xia Ye's evaluation of his sister. Too naive. Oh. Are you talking about sister being foolish? Miyano Mingmei's eyes flickered with a slight wave, and she glanced at Xia Ye not far away as if she had nothing. How could that be? Shiba Miyano held his sister's hand and coquettishly begged for mercy. Sister has always been very smart. I don't believe it. Minami Miyano chuckled. My younger sister hasn't spoiled herself in a long time, this feeling is really good. If I could leave the organization, by the way, sister. Miyano Shiba wanted to talk to Miyano Minami about the diary, but found himself unable to speak at all. Whether it's speech, actions, or eye contact, as long as there is an idea to reveal the content of the log, it's completely unacceptable. Don't do anything foolish. In the end, Miyano Zhibao could only gently remind his sister. I know now. Miyano Mingmei smiled brightly, with a hint of lightness in her tone. Don't worry, sister will watch you get married. I don't want to get married. Miyano Zhibao instinctively glanced at Xia Ye and snorted. Sister, at such an old age, I haven't finished yet. Well, big. Minami Miyano tugged at the corner of her mouth. At the very least, she is my own younger sister, and this statement is considered a violation of taboos. I twisted it. Stretching out her delicate hand and pinching her soft little face. Miyano Minami and her sister, who would soon disappear, carefully frolicked in the corner. Even if Xia Ye is not wearing a Spider-Man suit now. You can still hear the conversation between Miyano sisters not far away. Something's wrong. There is something wrong with the development of the matter. Miyano Minami seems to be overly enthusiastic about her attitude towards herself. And, does Miyano Zhibao like himself? Xia Ye can't tell. However, if Minami Miyano is passionate about herself and wants to avoid making things difficult for Shiba Miyano. This seems to make sense. After all, the original body was also a member trained by the organization from a young age, and I have met Minami Miyano a few times. The original body is not as cold and ruthless as Jin, and it is normal for Minami Miyano to want to bring her closer. Thinking about things. Xia Ye suddenly felt a peeping gaze. Surprisingly, the target is not Mingmei and Zhibao, but me. Xia Ye looked up at the window and instantly locked her gaze on a window on the 23rd floor of the Mihua Central building across from her. The enhanced visual perception of the spider allowed him to see the target directly. The distance is less than 300 meters. Sniper rifle. Someone wants to kill me. Also, that is, Calvados. The person behind the sniper rifle surprised Xia Ye a bit. Isn't this guy the sniper of the organization? Why do you want to take action against me? Is it because I have received training from Belmord before, that I envy, and hate? That won't wait until now. Forget it, since he has already put up his sniper rifle, it's the enemy. Let's take down it first before we talk. Xia Ye confessed to Miyano sisters. Walk towards the bathroom. After a moment, the figure in the extraordinary Spider-Man battle suit jumped out of the bathroom window and climbed towards the rooftop in the dark. Xia Ye had never been Spider-Man before. But his movements are not awkward at all, and all his abilities seem to be innate. Quickly, he arrived at the top floor of the Mihua department store. The top floor of Mihua department store is not empty. On the contrary, this is an open party venue where many young people sway freely. When Xia Ye climbed up from downstairs and stood on the railing, many eyes focused on him, and screams of surprise echoed one after another. What kind of ghost is this? Cosplay. What is the role of COS? No. There are no stairs outside the railing over there, how did he climb up? Look at the spider on his chest, it's so cool. Xia Ye looked at the surprised crowd with a slight smile on her lips. Of course, the people on site couldn't see the smile beneath the spider mask. Excuse me, everyone, what kind of person are you? A brave young man rushed over and loudly asked. What do you want to do? You can call me Spider-Man. Xia Ye stretched out his arms and slowly lay back, his body falling from the roof, but his voice came up. My goal is naturally to punish evil and promote good, and to uphold justice. Oh my goodness. He jumped down. A girl dressed in hot clothes exclaimed in surprise. She just thought Spider-Man was cool, but didn't expect him to jump off a building. He's okay. The young man who rushed out first lay on the railing, excitedly shouting. He's flying. What? Everyone rushed over and squeezed against the railing to look down. Spider-Man seemed to be grabbing something. A beautiful arc was created in the air. In an instant, I was approaching the Mihua Central building across from me. Then everyone saw him walking flat on the exterior wall of the Mihua Central building, and finally jumped into a window. I'm not dreaming, am I? A long time later, a voice murmured. This is not a dream. A big man carrying a camera had a face full of ecstasy and laughed loudly, saying. I've captured it. I've captured everything. I've made a fortune now. You caught it. Everyone gathered around. They found out that this was the photographer who originally filmed the live party. It is normal for a professional person to capture this fleeting scene. Hurry up and let's take a look. Impossible. The photographer was already slowly retreating, and he quickly ran into the stairs downstairs. How can I sell money even if I show you? Ha ha ha. Damn it. Everyone's teeth were itching with hatred. Now I can only watch it on TV or newspapers. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 5 Miyano Zhibao. Sister, you also have a log. You are listening at novel full.audio. As a sniper. Not evacuating decisively when discovered and instead staying in place is a taboo. Calvados is too careless. When he observed Xia Ye in the sniper scope. I noticed that Xia Ye looked over here. Because I just scanned this direction and then withdrew my gaze. So he didn't pay too much attention. Ultimately, it is still contemptuous. He doesn't believe that young members of the organization like Xia Ye have the ability to discover their sniper positions. And this kind of contempt. He lost his last chance to escape. A black shadow flashed past the window. Calvados felt a pain in his chest and flew out, slamming heavily against the wall behind him, with drops of blood oozing out of his mouth in an instant. Calvados, Xia Ye lifted him up with one hand around his neck and said calmly. Why are you monitoring me? Whose instruction was it? Qin Wine. Belmord. Rum. Or the boss. Caught by Xia Ye's neck. Calvados is almost suffocating. He stared wide-eyed at the spider mask in front of him. Is this person wearing strange spider clothes? Autumn mountain and summer leaves. He's hiding his identity. And his power, it doesn't match the information in the organization at all. What kind of person are you? Calvados struggled to utter a complete sentence without even a single line in the original work. Sorry, the answer is incorrect. Xia Ye gently exerted force on her hand and crushed Calvados's throat bone. With the power of Spider-Man weighing tons, he could only try to restrain his grip as much as possible. Otherwise, it's not just crushing, it's losing the entire neck. He casually threw the body of Calvados onto the ground. Summer Night probably already knows who this matter today is related to. Although Calvados did not answer his question, there was still a slight fluctuation in his eyes when he asked about a certain name. Belmord. Sure enough, it's her. What is this woman up to? At least she was also a student whom she had personally taught. Surprisingly, someone was sent to monitor, or a sniper. Is that unreasonable? As for whether Calvados acted privately, Xia Ye felt it was unlikely. Miyano sisters met at places that were temporarily notified by Qinzhou, and Calvados could never know in advance. Only Belmord can get the answer from the Jin. Xia Ye walked to the balcony, glancing at the rifle used for sniping. The gun was not loaded, obviously he was only observing himself for the time being. No wonder even the spider's senses only detect peeping, without feeling any killing intent. Let's put it this way. Calvados died somewhat unjustly. Slightly adjusted the position of the Laifu sniper rifle. Xia Ye jumped down from the balcony, feeling the tense stimulation of vertical descent. The howling wind blew past my ears. He felt as if he had developed a liking for this lightning-fast speed. Whoosh! Spider silk sticks to the exterior wall of the Mihua department store. The strong inertia of pulling did not cause any burden on Xia Ye's body, but instead led him into a dim alley next to the Mihua department store. Wait for him to step out of the alley. The attire of the spider warsuit has been cancelled and restored to its original appearance. Spring Cafe. Xia Ye walked out of the bathroom. I found that Miyano sisters was discussing something. What are you talking about? Talking about Spider-Man. Miyano Zhibao raised his phone in his hand. Above is the Twitter interface, with a photo on the interface. Spider-Man, dressed in a red and blue spider warrior suit, swept high in the air between the Mihua department store and the Mihua Central building, swinging his spider silk. The towering buildings on both sides, the dazzling city neon below, and the flowing streets all serve as a backdrop for the red and blue figures. This photo is very clear. Even the spider silk in the dark night is faintly visible. And the angle is also appropriate. The resulting effect is quite artistic, which can win awards at certain photography exhibitions. Xia Ye glanced at it. The person who posted the photo is a city photographer with over 300,000 fans. He was originally planning to take a high-altitude view of the street tonight, but he accidentally took such a thrilling photo of Spider-Man. And now, the likes for this photo have exceeded 50,000. Many people leave comments below questioning the authenticity of the photos. There are also many first-hand witnesses who happen to be in Mihua town to explain below. In short, due to the emergence of Spider-Man, neon has caused a huge uproar on the internet. It's really handsome, very cool. Xia Ye smiled and nodded. I didn't expect there to be such a mysterious existence in the world. Miyano Zhibao secretly rolled his beautiful white eyes. Install. You just pretend. This Spider-Man is clearly you. Knowing it well, but unable to speak at all, I could only accompany Xia Ye in acting. Miyano Zhibao glanced at his sister. Just now, time goes back 7 minutes ago. What is this? Spider-Man. The customer who was 2 tables away from Miyano's sisters gave a cry of surprise. Spider-Man. Is it Spider-Man? I just saw in the log that Xia Ye has obtained Spider-Man status. Miyano Zhibao is very sensitive to the word spider now. Did Xia Ye just say she wanted to go to the bathroom, so she changed into Spider-Man and went out for activities? Hello, just as Miyano Zhibao was pondering. Minami Miyano had already walked up to the customer's table and asked with a smile. Excuse me, where did you see the Spider-Man you mentioned? That customer is a chubby young man who is not good at speaking. When he saw a blonde beauty like Minami Miyano approaching, he almost said his bank card password. Go back to your seat. Minami Miyano quickly found the photo on Twitter. Zhibao, look, Spider-Man. Looking at the pretty sister with a slightly flushed face, she seemed a bit excited. A bizarre idea emerged in Miyano Zhibao's heart. Sister, she looked into her sister's eyes and made a flipping gesture on her hand. That mysterious force did not stop her. Zhibao, you too. Miyano Minami also made a flipping gesture, her eyes filled with shock. I didn't expect my younger sister to have the same summer leaf journal as herself. Yeah. Miyano Zhibao finally understood now. Why is my sister so passionate about Xia Ye? People like their sisters who are trapped in the dark and unable to extricate themselves. I naturally have a favorable impression of someone who can save me. Shiba, you need to hurry up. Minami Miyano smiled and said. The closest person to him now is you. This is a great opportunity, don't let those who come later snatch it. Due to the existence of restrictions. Miyano Minami spoke more tactfully. As the plot progresses, more and more female characters will appear around Xia Ye. She certainly wants her sister to occupy the most important position in Xia Ye's heart, at least to stand undefeated. But Miyano Shiba wants to say that guy is a sea king. Even he likes you, sister. Wait. Sister has also read the logs, so why did she say such things? What's the matter, Zhibao? Minami Miyano chuckled lightly, as long as you can live a happy life, it's good. The rest are just minor details, don't worry. Sister, you're right. Miyano Zhibao thought of something deeper. Since my sister also has Xia Ye's log, it indicates that she is not the only one. I don't know how many people outside are eyeing the summer night logs, at least that woman named Xiaolan is very likely to have logs. Unless you give up on yourself, it's better to listen to your sister and take action first. And giving up, Miyano Zhibao never thought about it. On the one hand, it is her personality that makes her never let go of her things. On the other hand, even if you give up, the log is still there. If you read Xia Ye's heart every day, maybe you can still see his secret story with some woman. Who can bear it? Why don't I start first? Let other women see Xia Ye and me in the future. Miyano Zhibao made a domineering decision in his heart. Feilu's novel, Fei Wants You to Look Good. Chapter 6. Showdown. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the coffee shop. Xia Ye did not return to her seat. Instead, he sat down naturally to chat with Miyano's sisters. When all 3 people have a heart, the relationship between each other quickly became familiar through chatting. When Zhibao was a child, he always kicked the quilt, and his mother could only wrap her up to sleep, like a little silkworm pupa. Miyano Minami propped her cheeks with delicate hands, her pretty face carrying a warm smile, telling Xia Ye about her sister's embarrassing childhood. Sister. That was a long time ago during childhood. Miyano Zhibao no longer remembers these experiences, but his sister's words in front of Xia Ye still made her blush, making her very embarrassed. That must be very cute, I really want to see it with my own eyes. Xia Ye smiled and said, when I was a child, Shiba and Ai Hybra may have looked the same, but their temperament should not be exactly the same. He is indeed a bit curious. I have a photo album there. Minami Miyano ignored her sister's protesting gaze and said with a smile, I left it in a secret rented apartment. You can come and see it anytime, Natsuya. Okay, Xia Ye readily agreed. Even some can't wait. Since it's a family album, there must also be photos of Minami Miyano from her childhood, and he wants to see them too. And his mother.in.law, he also really wants to see it. However, Minami Miyano just mentioned the apartment she secretly rented. Since it was rented secretly, I naturally want to avoid the eyes and ears of the organization. Why did she tell herself now that she trusts her so much? In fact, Xia Ye still doesn't understand why Minami Miyano is so unguarded towards herself. Spider sensing did not feel any malice on her, but instead could feel a strong affection or even attachment. Even Miyano Zhibao has this feeling. Is this world crazy? Summer leaves, summer leaves. Miyano Mingmei waved her delicate hands in front of Xia Ye. Are you thinking? Ah. Sorry. Xia Ye came to her senses and apologized, it was impolite. It's okay, Miyano Akemi's pretty face turned crimson, but a restrained smile appeared in her beautiful eyes. But can you let go of my hand first? Hand. Subconsciously pinched the object in the palm of the hand. Smooth and delicate, soft as boneless, warm as jade. Cough, I didn't mean to. Xia Ye let go of her delicate hands, feeling a bit awkward. Just now, although he was thinking about things outside of the wandering object, the spider's sense did not stop working. When Minami Miyano waved in front of him, she was unconsciously grabbed and placed in the palm of her hand. This means that Minami Miyano had no ill intentions, otherwise her slender and fair hands would have long been useless. It's okay. Actually, I don't mind, you. Miyano Minami blinked her eyes, seeming to find Xia Ye's appearance very interesting. She pursed her red lips and was about to speak boldly, but was accidentally hit by her sister's waist. She could only regretfully give up and change the topic, saying, What were you thinking just now? Summer leaves feel more and more problematic. He could see clearly the little movements between sisters. If Minami Miyano didn't finish speaking, he could probably guess what it was. That's what's even more wrong. Is this still the gentle, kind, understanding, and watery Miyano Mimi? The persona has collapsed. Are you thinking about I and Zhibao's attitude towards you today? Miyano Minami gently lifted the hair in her ear, her eyes flowing, and she did not conceal her changes today. That's right, Xia Ye calmly looked into Miyano Mingmei's eyes. Since it had already been showcased, he naturally wanted to know why. Pucci, that's because you've changed a lot today. Minami Miyano chuckled, in the past, you had a smile on everyone's face, but your eyes were incredibly cold and distant. However, your eyes today are warm, and when you look at me in Zhibao, you are full of pity. Isn't it normal for someone like you to want to be close? Don't underestimate women's intuition. If you don't believe it, you can ask Zhibao. Xia Ye looked at Miyano Zhibao and saw her little face slightly red as she nodded, feeling a bit speechless. I was the one who exposed it first. Is my gaze so exaggerated? I feel like I'm pretending very well, can't I really hide my love for Shiba and Minmei? Cough. Xia Ye coughed lightly, ready to explain, deceive. Actually, Zhibao and I don't want to know why you changed your attitude. Miyano Minami's pretty face became more serious, and she smiled gently in her eyes as she said. It's very rare for our sisters to have someone to care about. As for the reason, we don't want to explore. I understand. Xia Ye couldn't help but secretly sigh. Miyano Mingmei is indeed the understanding woman. When she said this, she didn't need to explain anything, it was so thoughtful. Just understand, Miyano Minami blinked and took her sister's hand, suddenly mischievously saying. Then I'll hand over Zhibao to you in the future, you must take good care of her. Don't worry. Xia Ye nodded solemnly, I won't let anyone hurt her. Hey. Miyano Zhibao raised some doubts in confusion. Didn't my sister just line up with Xia Ye? Why did you suddenly mention me again? However, she quietly glanced at her sister. Sister is really amazing, she just fooled me around like this. And it also solves the problem of getting along with Xia Ye in the future. Even if you want to get close to him, you don't have to worry about him doubting. Who dares to doubt my sister's innocence now? She's just a genius, okay? Next. The three of them tacitly did not continue the previous topic. Just chatting lightly about some trivial things in life, interesting insights. Big brother, time. The black security guard promptly pushed open the door of the coffee shop and came to Xia Ye's side, whispering a reminder. Xia Ye gave him a faint glance, and he suddenly fell silent like a cicada. He struggled in his heart for a while, his eyes wondering if. Big brother, I can only delay for up to 20 more minutes. Xia Ye, forget it. Miyano Zhibao picked up his small bag and chuckled, we had a great conversation today. You and Zhibao should go back and rest as soon as possible. Okay, Xia Ye nodded and waved her hand, saying. Go drive. Yes, big brother. The black-clad security guard gratefully glanced at Minami Miyano. The dilemma between brother Qinzhou and brother Xia Ye is not easy. Brother Xia Ye doesn't have a name for wine yet, but that will happen sooner or later, let alone the woman behind him. No one can afford to provoke someone like me. Fortunately, Minami Miyano cleared the situation and slipped away. Next time, if you give Shirley some convenience within your job responsibilities, it will be considered as a reward. Feilu's novel, Fei Wants You to Look Good. Chapter 7 Zhibao. Who is that unlucky guy who got smaller? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Farewell to Minami Miyano. Xia Ye and Miyano Zhibao returned to the research institute. Miyano Zhibao did not go back to rest, but instead plunged into the laboratory again. Why are you doing the experiment so late? Xia Ye leaned against the experimental platform. Watching her burn the test tube and prepare the solution was a bit strange. Isn't she very averse to making poison? I am trying to concoct the antidote for APTX-4869, Miyano Zhibao did not hesitate to mention Xia Ye. Although taking APTX-4869 is basically about to die soon, I guess there is actually another effect of this medicine. What are the benefits? Xia Ye already understands what Miyano Zhibao is saying. Isn't it the source of all evil in Conan's world? I found during an experiment that mice regained their juvenile body size after taking medication. Miyano Zhibao's beautiful eyes were full of exploration, and his tone was also somewhat excited. I suspect that this effect will also occur in humans. However, the probability should tend towards zero. Tending towards zero. Xia Ye remains non-committal. Just talking about the plot, there are several successful cases of Conan, Huiyuan, and Lingmei becoming smaller. In terms of probability, it's actually not too small. Xia Ye, do you think this possibility exists? Miyano Zhibao shook the test tube in his hand and asked seemingly unintentionally. If the probability is not zero, then it must exist. Is that so? I understand now. Miyano Zhibao knew in his heart that for someone like Xia Ye who knew the plot, this sentence was an affirmation. In the future plot, there will definitely be someone who has been given medication A and transformed into their childhood appearance. I don't know who the unlucky guy is either. However, most of the people who took medication A have died, so surviving may be a different kind of luck. Approaching 12 o'clock. There has been no progress in Miyano Zhibao's experiment. This did not surprise Xia Ye and herself. If the so-called antidote is so easy to research, wouldn't a drug, a large-scale project spanning decades, be a joke? Let's go back and rest. Xia Ye walked up and took the test tube from her hand, saying softly, don't worry so much, just take it slow. Miyano Zhibao nodded obediently. Xia Ye's concern warmed her heart. If in the past, even if conducting experiments until early morning, she would only be accompanied by cold instruments and those mice destined to be dissected on the experimental platform. It's great to have a kind-hearted person by my side now. The apartment opposite the research institute. Miyano Zhibao stood at the entrance of his room, looking at Xia Ye. Then I'll go back, you. What? Do you want to invite me in for a cup of coffee? Xia Ye sneered, it's better to be respectful then. You think so? Miyano Zhibao spat lightly, wrinkled his nose, and angrily said, if you want coffee, go home and make it yourself. I've finished my coffee. Xia Ye sighed, I won't be able to sleep tonight without coffee. You wait. Miyano Zhibao opened the door and closed it instantly like a thief. After a moment, she held a can of coffee and stuffed it into Xia Ye's hand. Here, the finest Blue Mountain coffee, take it back and drink it. You can finish it all night. Okay, Xia Ye originally just wanted to tease her. Taking the coffee, opening the opposite door, and turning back, he said, remember to call me if you have any situation. I understand. Miyano Zhibao watched as Xia Ye entered the opposite room before entering his own apartment. Close the door, lean your body against the door, and take a deep breath. It's so close. I almost took the initiative to invite him in just now. Even if we decide to date him, we can't progress so quickly. It's better to wait for a while before inviting a man into one's room in the middle of the night. On the other side. Returning to her room, Xia Ye did not hesitate. Miyano sisters have been very satisfied with his attitude. Relationships naturally need to gradually improve, it's not good to be too anxious. Washed up. Xia Ye sat on the sofa and casually opened the log. Just now, Zhibao asked me if medication A may make people smaller. Of course there is. You are the one who has been reduced by drug A, little fool. Just lying in bed wearing a towel, Miyano Zhibao she flipped through his diary and saw these two sentences directly. What? In the future plot, I will become smaller. So the unlucky guy I'm talking about is myself. After being shocked, Miyano Zhibao also thought of the question she had previously been puzzled about. How did she escape from the organization in the original plot? Now she finally figured it out, it must have been her sister who, after her death, became disillusioned and consumed poison, triggering an unknown low probability of becoming a child's body. Speaking of which, in the plot, the first person I met was AI Hui Yuan, and Shiba's first appearance was in AI Zhao's memories. Xiao AI, now that I'm here, I don't think Xiao AI will appear anymore. It's a bit regrettable. Xiao AI, Xiao AI, Xiao AI. Upon hearing Xia Ye affectionately call a strange name, Miyano Zhibao felt a bit sour in his heart. Although she knew that this should be the name she changed after getting smaller, she couldn't help but wonder why things hadn't happened yet. I really liked the two female protagonists in this world, Xiao AI with a black belly and a proud and delicate demeanor, the queen of poisonous tongue, and Xiaolan who is pure and kind, like angels. Hey, I don't know when I'll see Xiaolan. How about going to the Polo Cafe tomorrow? Miyano Zhibao gritted his teeth and wished he could immediately run and knock on Xia Ye's door, scolding him severely. I have a black belly and a proud tongue. Is that pure and kind person named Xiaolan like an angel? You still like it like this, are you blind? Damn it. I knew that Xiaolan was a formidable opponent. She must have this log too. I don't know what her mood is after watching it. Mihuacho 5. Chom. The third floor of Maori Detective Office. In a cozy and lovely room decorated. Xiaolan, who had already changed into light and thin pajamas, sat at the desk, flipping through a black journal. Hey, I shouldn't be curious to open you. The appearance of this log has added many magical colors to Xiaolan's not-so-colorful life. The Crosser, the comic world, is the heroine, the Black Clothes Organization, the sisters controlled by the Black Clothes Organization, and Spider-Man who has just appeared and spread all over the web. In just half a day. So much information has already had a significant impact on her worldview. So when she saw the traveler Chushan Xia Ye saying she liked her, she didn't feel anything bad either. Since I am a character in a manga, it is normal for someone to like me. However, what kind of person is that traveler? Xiaolan had a strong curiosity in her heart. His current identity should be a member of that black-clad organization, considered a criminal, but everything he does is very good, except for some frivolity. He should be a good person. Xiaolan thought to Xia Ye in the diary, who said she liked Zhibao and her sister, and then said she liked herself. Suddenly, there was a strange feeling in my heart. Strangely enough, she doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. Because she also likes many excellent boys in stories when reading novels and comics. Since her own world is a world of comics, it's normal for Xia Ye, as a reader, to like many female characters. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward. Chapter 8. New Identity. Karate Master. You are listening at novel.Audio. Under the moonlight. Xiaolan is waiting for the log update. Just now Xia Ye said that he will come to the Polo Cafe to see him tomorrow. Should I go see him myself? However, I went to see other boys without telling Shinichi. Isn't this not good? For the vague emotions in one's own heart. Actually, Xiaolan has always been in a dilemma. Xine, who grew up with childhood sweethearts, really likes him. But I couldn't feel the new one's heart. I don't even know what birthday or holiday it is, but I always prepare gifts for him myself. The qualifying round for the Dongdu karate competition. He went to play football and didn't even come to cheer for himself. Even when we occasionally go shopping together and encounter any cases, he always says he can leave. That's okay. I waited for him in the same place and later realized that he had already gone home without notifying myself. Yuanzi was almost furious that time, shouting for the Suzuki family's bodyguards to beat Xine, but he almost couldn't stop him. Will such a newcomer really like themselves? Xiaolan was lost in thought. And then, why haven't we updated yet? If we don't update again, I'll go to sleep. Hey, you have a new identity. I almost forgot that this is Ke Xue world. Yesterday Tuesday, today Monday, it's very reasonable. A hint of doubt flashed in Xiaolan's eyes. That's right, yesterday Tuesday, today Monday, it's really reasonable. Is the time in the world where Xia Ye traveled different from this world? Karate gym owner. Also comes with a karate gym. What's the use of this thing? Is it used to soak Xiaolan poo? Xiaolan's face turned red with embarrassment from Xia Ye's open mouth. Even if it's writing logs, you should be more restrained. I don't know if anyone can see it. Oh yes, he doesn't know. Xiaolan couldn't help feeling a little proud in her heart. Even if you are a traveler, I haven't seen the log yet. Think of it here. Xiaolan suddenly became enlightened. Xia Ye, as a traveler, knows the plot of this world. But I also know the secret in his heart. Isn't that even? Additional skill is master-level karate. Isn't this unfair to people like Xiaolan and others who work hard to cultivate like that? Xiaolan pursed her lips. What's the solution then? Who makes you a traveler, and the system? We ordinary people can only work hard to cultivate. Daoguan surprisingly has attributes as well. Practicing in the dojo increases proficiency by 30%. With my guidance, increase it by another 50%, hiss. It's too exaggerated. Xiaolan's heart skipped a beat. I am a genius. Although it may be somewhat impolite to say so. But I am indeed a genius. Starting from the summer vacation of the second year of junior high school, I will practice karate. It's only a little over 2 years now. I am already the head of the karate department at Emperor Dan High School. Even in the upcoming Dongdu karate competition, there is a possibility of winning. But There are even more talented people in this world. The karate master of Hokkaido High School. Jingji Zhen. The renowned young master of Kuju, who claims to have achieved no defeat in the 400 battles. 2 consecutive championships of the national karate competition. I am only 1 year older than myself, but my strength is incomparable. I'm not willing to accept it. Since I have learned karate, I naturally want to become stronger. Now there is the magical Taoist temple of Xia Ye. As long as you practice there, your strength can definitely improve by leaps and bounds. It's just that, forget it, just pretend it doesn't exist. Anyway, the system also said that if you don't want to do the identity task, you can skip it. Don't do it. Xiaolan is in a hurry. What should I do if you don't open the door? I still have to rely on your sect to enhance its strength. Xia Ye's family. Looking at the newly added identity, he is indeed quite conflicted. Karate curator, karate master, the owner of the One Heart Taoist Hall. Isin Daoguan attributes. Practicing in the museum increases proficiency by 30%. The owner personally guided and increased proficiency by 50%. Identity task. Teach disciples to complete tasks every 7 days. Upon seeing the identity task, Xia Ye knew that she was unlikely to use this identity. Completing a task for 7 consecutive days is a waste of time. However, even if you don't do the task, the strength of a karate master has already been attached to him. Various routine moves have also been imprinted in my mind. That's it. Write 2 more sentences and go to sleep. What should I write before going to bed on my first day in this world? A strange room, it seems like I can't sleep. There seems to be some loneliness in these words. Miyano Zhibao suddenly felt a little heartbroken. Although Xia Ye is familiar with the plot of this world, he is not a person from this world after all. Even for himself, he is actually a stranger, just a familiar stranger. It will definitely be lonely. If only there was a little AI pillow. No, the pillow is not enough. How about giving Shiba medication A to turn her into AI Hui Yuan, and then holding her to sleep? Lolitai's real person pillow must be very comfortable. Get lost. Miyano Zhibao couldn't help but roar in his heart. Bastard, give me back my emotions. I should have known this guy was heartless. What do I care about him? Sleep after a long time. The log has not been updated again. The first day Xia Ye arrived at Conan World passed like this. The next morning. Downstairs of Maori detective office. A luxury car is parked on the roadside. The young and beautiful girl jumped out of the car directly. With her hands in a trumpet shape, she shouted loudly towards the upstairs, looking very indecent. Xiaolan. We're going to school. The sun's shining on our buttocks. Ah. Dead garden, you wait for me. Xiaolan poked her head out of the second-floor window and scolded coquettishly, if you go down, I'll take care of you. Don't do it. The garden blinked and surrendered directly. I brought strawberry chiffon cake, do you want to eat it? Eat. Xiaolan is not polite to Yuanzi at all. Pick up your backpack, quickly run downstairs, and extend your hand. Where's the cake? Here you go. Yuanzi placed the cake she had just taken out of the car in Xiaolan's hand and took the opportunity to reach out and pinch it on her waist, jokingly saying. Eat more, Xiaolan. You have a physique that doesn't make you fat. Xiaolan has become accustomed to the garden's tendency to move around. Everyone is a girl, and this intimate gesture is not a problem. However, I am indeed not prone to gaining weight, but eating too much can still lead to weight gain. Mainly, practicing karate consumes more energy to maintain my figure. That's right, Yuanzi turned his eyes and rubbed his chin, saying. By the way, when I just took the car over, I saw a newly opened karate shop over there. What's the name of the One Heart Dojo? Do you want to take a look? Xia Daoguan. Xiaolan was surprised in her heart. Isn't the Taoist hall that Xia Ye got last night called Isin Taoist Hall? Yeah, the name sounds great, right? Yuanzi pointed not far away and said with a smile, it's over there, very close to your home. Let's go take a look. Xiaolan wants to confirm the situation. The distance between Daoguan is even closer than Xiaolan imagined. After only walking over 100 meters, she saw a Taoist temple with a rather ancient style. On the plaque of the Daoguan, these two Chinese characters are written. Isin. It's really a one-heart Taoist hall. Xiaolan was very shocked in her heart, because she vividly remembered that yesterday it was still an old house waiting to be demolished. The old house was already somewhat dilapidated and uninhabited. However, in just one night, that old house became such a decorated, ancient, solemn and peaceful Taoist temple. Is this the ability of Xia Ye's system? Aunt Sakata. Xiaolan called out to a middle-aged woman. She runs a bathhouse on the shopping street and is very familiar with Xiaolan. Xiaolan, what's wrong? Do you want to practice karate at this dojo? Mrs. Sakata said enthusiastically, I heard that although the owner of this Taoist temple is young, he is very capable. Well, I got it, of course. Xiaolan knows that the owner of this restaurant has strength. Master-level karate also plays Spider-Man as a part-time player. Can she not be powerful? Aunt Sakata, how long has this dojo been open? It's been 2.5 years, you silly girl. Mrs. Sakata said naturally. Have you never paid attention to it before? I didn't notice. In a few words, I perfunctorily brushed off Lady Sakata. After she left, Xiaolan looked at the Taoist temple in front of her with complex eyes. Xia Ye's system can actually modify people's consciousness, it's too scary. Xiaolan. Yuanzi suddenly patted her shoulder, what's wrong with you? Why is your face so scary? No, it's okay. Xiaolan calmed her emotions and saw Yuanzi's eyes. She asked in a strange way, Yuanzi, have you ever seen this Taoist temple before? No. Yuanzi said strangely, didn't this Taoist temple only appear last night? Don't you know that? Last night. Xiaolan looked at her best friend in surprise. Instantly understanding what was going on, she reached out her arms and excitedly hugged the garden, afraid to say. Great, you too, garden. I thought. Why else? Yuanzi gently patted her back and whispered. Do you think I'm like that aunt? Xiaolan discovered that she knew each other was owned by logs. The originally very strict constraints seem to have relaxed a bit, and we can now say things that are only understandable. Let's go. Yuanzi took Xiaolan's hand and walked forward. The Daoguan didn't open today. We'll come back when it opens. If he doesn't open the door, we'll go find him. I don't believe we can't find him. Okay, Xiaolan discovered. My best friend's ability to act is stronger than mine. The wind and fire seem to always be full of vitality. I don't know either. A very untimely question suddenly appeared in Xiaolan's mind. Does Xia Ye, the traveler, like her? Feilu's novel, Fei Wants You to Look Good. Chapter 9. Qin Wine, have you ever attended school? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Research Institute. Xia Ye and Zhibao walked into the gate together. I immediately felt that the atmosphere was a bit off. Big brother. Good morning, big brother. Big brother, you're here. The black-clad security guards greeted Xia Ye one after another. Okamoto, what happened? Xia Ye waved and called over the black-clad security guard who drove for him and Zhibao yesterday. Big brother, Brother Qinjiu will come over later. Okamoto Ichiro lowered his voice, as if afraid of anyone hearing. Qin Wine. He can come as soon as he comes, it's not that he hasn't been here before. Xia Ye wondered, why are you nervous? Big brother, you will soon be a core member. It's normal for you to not be afraid of Qin Wine, but we little brats are different, said Ichiro Okamoto mysteriously. Everyone is passing it on. Brother Chinjio has at least dozens or hundreds of his own lives in his hands. Do you think we can be afraid? You're all right. Xia Ye didn't expect the reputation of Chinjio, who specializes in killing his own people, to be so loud. I am also too lazy to explain to them that the people killed by Chinjio are all traitors of the organization and members who need to be silenced after being arrested. Go ahead, let me know when the Jin is coming. Yes, big brother. I stayed in the central laboratory for a while with Shiba Miyano. The black security guard came over to notify Xia Ye. The Jin has arrived. Xia Ye arrived at the conference room. I saw two men dressed in black already sitting on the sofa. Silver hair reaching down to the waist, dark green eyes gloomy and indifferent, with a gloomy temperament. This is Qin Wine. With a burly figure, wearing sunglasses, and a simple and silly demeanor, this is the bound attendant of Chinjio, a professional driver of vodka. These two people are model workers in the distillery. As long as there are organized tasks, their presence will be present. Appearing particularly outstanding among a group of fake wines with malicious or idle intentions. Good evening, Xia Ye. This is not what gin and vodka said. But it was transmitted from the laptop placed on the table. Xia Ye took a few steps forward. Looking at the sexy and alluring silver-haired beauty on the computer screen, she greeted with a smile. Teacher, it's already morning with neon lights. But you look really beautiful in this outfit. Aren't you afraid that gin and vodka won't hold you? The Belmord on the screen seems to have just finished bathing. A delicate face without any makeup. Several decades old, with white and smooth faces like little girls. Wearing lightweight silk pajamas, lightly tied around the waist, with a deep V-shaped neckline, it is quite bold. The silk pajamas were already smooth, but she elegantly lifted her legs. The corners of the pajamas slid down, and the slender and fair legs almost occupied half of the screen plus, the seat on her side seemed to be relatively low, and Belmord looked down at the camera. In an instant, Queen Fan came out, feeling both eager and proud. Tisk, Xia Ye, your mouth is still so sweet. Belmord pinched a lit lady's cigarette with his fingertips, pursed his red lips, and exhaled a faint smoke. His watery green eyes flowed with a charming smile, saying, I don't think they have much to do with each other, but it's you. Your composure seems to have weakened. There's no way, after leaving your side, the resistance weakened. Summer Leaves delivered an unmarked flattery, and Belmoriden smiled brightly. People who don't know think the relationship between teachers and students is very good. Have you two talked enough? Chinjio coldly interrupted the conversation between the teacher and student, with impatient eyes. Okay, I'll talk to the teacher later. Xia Ye sat on the sofa on her own and smiled, saying. Qin Wine, haven't the research institute already been handed over to me? What are you doing this time? Vodka. Qin Wine didn't care about the rudeness of Xia Ye. Even the younger generation, with Xia Ye's ability, could barely make him treat each other equally. Vodka heard his older brother's command and picked up the remote control to turn on the projection TV on the wall. The TV showed live news footage. This is a small press conference. Sitting in front of the stage are all the big shots from various departments of the police station. Sitting in the middle is the Minister of Justice, Akira Oda. Minister Oda cut. May I ask when the police can catch that strange person claiming to be Spider-Man? A sharp question from a journalist. His appearance is likely to threaten the security of Dongdu. We will investigate his identity as soon as possible, Oda Chimuro replied calmly with a blank expression. So, does the police station have no clue at all now? Another journalist instantly found the loophole in Minister Oda's words and was excited, ready to make a big news. The police station naturally has clues. Akira Oda had long known the virtues of a neon journalist and was not surprised at all. He said with deep emotion and composure. This time Spider-Man appeared and killed a sniper who had set up a sniper point in the Mihua Central building. From his appearance to the completion of the attack, the purpose was very clear. We have started investigating from this point. So the identity of this sniper. No comment. This press conference has ended, please leave in an orderly manner. The police at the police station began politely inviting the reporters out of the venue, and the big shots on the news platform also stood up and left. After watching the press conference, press the remote control again for vodka. A video starts playing on TV. This is a barbecue party located at the top of a tall building. However, the camera did not capture the lively crowd, but rather focused on a figure wearing a red and blue spider costume. After a few conversations, Spider-Man leaned back at the edge of the railing in a freehand style, falling from the nearly 100-meter Mihua department store building. The camera quickly moved forward, occupying the best position in capturing the complete picture. Spider-Man grabbed the spider silk and instantly crossed the high sky between two buildings. Then he climbed over the eaves and walls, walking flat between the buildings, and finally rushed into a window of the Mihua Central building. Have you finished reading? Qin Xue's face remained expressionless. I've finished reading. Xia Ye withdrew her gaze from the TV. Spider-Man, he appeared in Mihua town last night, but unfortunately I went to the restroom and didn't see him. Didn't you see it? Vodka exclaimed in a muffled voice, as soon as you disappeared, that so-called Spider-Man appeared. What explanation do you have for this? Explanation. Do you doubt me? Xia Ye sneered, what do you think of Qin Xue? I think you do have suspicions. Qin Xue still had a cold expression, gazing faintly at Xia Ye. We got word from the eyeliner of the police. The sniper who died is Calvados. And at that time, he was going to monitor you. I know. Xia Ye looked indifferent. He's only 300 meters away from where he's sniping, and you think I can't find it. You underestimate me. But why would the organization send people to monitor me? I need an explanation. I asked him to go. Belmord's lady cigarette had been replaced with a glass of red wine, and she took a light sip. I feel like you've completely neglected your exercise during your month at the Research Institute, so I want to stimulate you. It's your idea, teacher. Xia Ye looked helplessly. It's okay then. Xia Ye, you haven't said yet. Xia Ye waved her hand and interrupted the vodka conversation. He looked at the two people in front of him with strange eyes, and after a long time, he spoke up and asked. Qin Wine, vodka, have you ever attended school? Pushi. Belmord on the computer screen laughed back and forth. There is a word called flower branches trembling, and Xia Ye finally understood its meaning. Trembling, it's really too trembling. Qin Xue's indifferent face turned black in an instant. As a core member of the organization, he is proficient in various killing techniques, precise marksmanship, and skilled in piloting various vehicles, including armed helicopters. However, he did not go to school. 3 things to do when reading. Read, collect, and reward.